You gonna hang out and let us help some people?
Sure.
Help some people. There's one. This person hit me up on Instagram, and I forgot who it is. But basically, it boils down to how can I use the Beige Phillip techniques to help manage women in the office that he deals with, because he's got a lot of very different personalities, high-level personalities. Like, almost how can he pimp the women in the office, so to speak?
Well, here's the.
Okay,
so I'm gonna go back to something that happened in the course of the show.
Right.
Today? No, well, not today, but in a past show, we had R.Budd. Maybe I've told the story a couple of times. Yeah. R.Budd,
the comic?
No, R.Budd, the pimp from American Pimp.
Okay.
With the double D for that double dose of pimping.
That's right.
You heard me?
That's right.
And he came on the show. Well, he was supposed to come on the show. Him and we became friends, and he came on the show, and he was supposed to come on the show, and he had a rough time. We had a rough time connecting. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, you sound troubled. Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? And he says, yeah, man, my daughter, she was supposed to go to college, and she decided not to go to college, and she ran away from home, and I haven't been able to find her. She's been calling me just to make sure that I know she's okay, but she really is not telling me where she's at, and I'm a little fucked up about this. Now, him as a pimp, as an ex-pimp, he was like a pimp for 40-something years. His daughter grew up with him and grew up with him being a great dad, you know. And she used to say, "Daddy, I want to find a man just like you." And he was like, "Don't ever do that." So him and I were talking, and he just seemed really troubled. And I said to him that I felt like you, if anybody knows how to get a woman to do something, what you want to do is you do. You were doing it, you were getting money out somebody's ass for
40 years,
46 years. And
he didn't think the rules applied.
He didn't think the rules applied. So when I said to him, I no disrespect, but I go, your daughter's still a woman, right. And if anybody understands women, you do. Mm-hmm. And he first he was a little taken back, like are you calling my daughter a hoe? But I was like. I'm not, but I am, right. Because everybody is the same, and we act in, human beings act in patterns. And he goes, let me call you back. And I heard from him like 2 days later, and he said, man, I was a little upset with you when you first mentioned it, but when I thought about you, the logic was true. Called his daughter up, and whatever techniques he would use to charm women in the past, he got his daughter to come home, and she went back to school, and they had a conversation. His problem was that because he actually participated in some of the worst shit that he ever seen a man treat a woman, he had this kind of, he was this apprehension about that and her being subjected to that. Right. And so he was such a different person. But the principles work no matter where you are. Yeah, and it's you absolutely can use the principles. If they work, they work. I mean, the true wisdom is the understanding of underlying concepts, how they relate to situations that seem irrelevant but really are not. And once you understand those fundamentals, you can reapply those fundamentals to anything that
The only thing I would say in converse to that is that you do work with them. So when it goes awry, if you break up with them or whatever, then you still got to work.
Well, I don't even think he's talking about sex-wise.
He's just using the techniques as a manager.
I got you.
So even in that context...
I thought he was trying to fuck his whole staff.
I mean, we've had that.
You really are a dirtbag, huh, Ralph? Well, here's the thing, what I would say to even that. The principles apply. Like what you said, lateness and setting your boundaries and not, I say any relationship, the simplest way to keep a relationship going or knowing that you need to end the relationship is really simple. Is understanding what your non-negotiables are and then never negotiating it.
Yeah. When I used to run this company here in New York called Juice Press. They're a pretty big juice company. I worked for them, helped them build their company for a couple of years. And when I came in, there was a lot of bad habits amongst the staff.
Right.
And we had our first staff meeting, and let's say it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon somewhere. At 3:01, I locked the door. Anybody else that came in, they had to knock on the door to get in. And in front of everybody, I said, you need to explain to everybody why your time is more valuable than everybody else's.
Right.
And just say it loud enough so everyone could hear.
Right.
No one ever was late again after that meeting.
Yeah.
You teach people how to treat you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's your non-negotiables. But being late is not negotiable.
But there's a level of credibility even with that you have to you have to really be honest about what your non-negotiables are. So if you're not really being honest about so for instance, it seems like a really simple thing to do, but I've seen guys who have been in relationships or women who have been in especially women in relationships where a guy cheats. And so the guy cheats and then they still hang out. And you're saying, with your anger, you're saying that this is non-negotiable. Your infidelity is not negotiable. But your actions are saying that it's not.
Right.
Because if you stay...
You're allowing it. You're allowing it to happen.
If you stay, then you're going that this is okay. So, and this is to the women that listen, if you have these situations and you stay despite the fact that you've stated that the non-negotiable is fidelity, and then you really have no credibility at all.
Right.
Because why would he respect that?
For some reason, also, when you speak, all women are the same. So many women believe that they can change somebody. Like, I'm going to fix this problem.
Sure.
But if that person's like, I'm the first person to give 100% trust in the beginning of a relationship. The minute you give me a reason not to trust you, I just don't trust you anymore. Right. At the end of it.
Right. And I think just doing that alone is the credibility of holding the line when you've drawn that line. But there's a level of credibility to not drawing a line unless you're really serious about drawing the line. So if and this goes to women a lot of times, they're with a guy and they love the guy, and then the guy cheats on them, and then you're hanging out afterwards. You're
allowing them to go.
The infidelity wasn't non-negotiable in the first. That wasn't non-negotiable.
I never have the discussion of exclusivity until I know for sure. I haven't had that discussion in like 10 years because I've not been in a relationship at any point yet where I'm like, I know I don't want to be with anyone else, and I don't want you to be with anyone else. I just automatically assume we're both fucking other people. Right. Always. Because for me, once we make that statement, either we're fucking other girls together or you're not fucking anyone else. That's just where it's going to be. But I just know that is, for me, where my head is at.
Now, let me ask you this. Threesomes and stuff like that you... is it you that usually sets that up, or is it usually the girl? Because I always expect... Well, let me say this. If it's somebody that I was dating, I always have the girl set it up.
Yeah, it's easier. It's more fun for me for the girl to set it up because also, if it's a girl that I know... It's less fun to me than a girl that she's bringing in. It's far more exciting to me, and it's a lot less work.
Well, it's also, you don't have to maintain that delicate balance.
Right. Yes, for sure. When she's brought her in.
Yeah, when she's brought her in, you know that she's the priority, and everything flows through her.
And you're letting her make the decisions. It gives her that feeling of being in control.
In control. Okay. Yeah. You got...